Hi, welcome to Christina's Couch. We're talking today a little bit about non-judgmental language and how it affects our self-esteem. So first we're going to talk about what is non-judgmental language. Well, we all know what judgments are. I think a lot of us are fearful of making judgments. Maybe we're not so fearful about making judgments about others, but we are fearful that they're making them about us. And sometimes we're fearful that we'll get caught making judgments about others. So how do we do this? How do we change the way that we speak or change our language to fit a more descriptive, more concise way of expressing our feeling and what's going on in the situation without getting caught up in these judgments, or as I like to call them, labels? Okay, so I'll give you some examples. A judgmental statement could be, my boss is a complete jerk. Okay, so if we use an example of a judgment I make to someone else, like my boss is a complete jerk, which she's not. I love my boss. I love all my bosses. They're amazing. But if I were to feel that way, right, I might say, my boss is a complete jerk. What am I really saying? Okay, I might actually be saying my boss is challenging me in a way that I'm uncomfortable and I don't know how to express it to her. Okay, I might think she's a jerk for doing it, but that could be the real reason behind it. Or my boss has given me an excessive amount of assignments and they don't even know how much work they're throwing on me. Now that's a more descriptive way to explain why you are disliking your boss or why you think they are a jerk. Now let's take this more towards inward, right? Let's talk about some non-judgmental language we might want to use with ourselves. How often have you said something negative about you? How often do you do that on the regular? Daily, weekly, monthly, always? Sometimes we harp on a specific judgment we have about ourselves and we focus on that, right? So a judgment we can make about ourselves. I am stupid, right? When we really mean, it's difficult for me to get my work done in a timely fashion. Or for a child, math is a really big struggle for me. Okay, that is a better, more descriptive way to express the way you're feeling and to understand what's going on around you without using negative language that your brain hears and then interprets as your true belief in the situation, right? So if I say I am stupid, my brain hears that I'm stupid and it believes that because I have all the power and control over what happens, right? I believe whatever I believe is going to be how my body works and puts out energy. So if I already say I'm stupid, I'm more likely not to do anything to change that. However, if I make a statement like math is difficult and I'm struggling, I now know what I need to do. I need to focus on math. Maybe I get a tutor, maybe I go to extra help, right? If it's my work situation, I'm like, this work is really challenging and I'm overwhelmed by it. I speak to a coworker, I talk to my boss, I delegate responsibility. Now there's a solution to the problem I'm feeling instead of just being weighed down by a judgment that I can't control. So I don't know if that helps anyone. Now, why does this matter to self-esteem? Why is this a self-esteem challenge? So this is the same thing with our last challenge, right? It has to do with the way we speak to ourselves and the way that our brain then interprets the things we're saying. When I create negative statements or definite statements that are very negative in nature, my brain then only hears those negative statements, believes them, and I create my life to drive in the direction of that belief, right? So if I start to say to myself something different, I'm going to change the direction in which my mind thinks. Now, if we continue to change that direction over and over again, we create new pathways in the brain that help us get to that thought much quicker than it's happening right now. So that's the reason we need to practice all of our self-help and self-care and any of these challenges I give you. The reason I make them challenges is because if we're not practicing them, we're going to be very unlikely to use them and they're not going to become part of our life. And also our brain is just not going to create those pathways if we're not doing it consistently. So we need that science piece to kind of be happening here as well. So my challenge to everyone is to come up with 3 judgmental statements you may make about yourself. And then I want you to reword them to be descriptive statements that help us understand and describe the behavior, the situation, without assigning value to it, right? You can say something is bad or good about the behavior, but not about the person or yourself. Okay, the behavior may be bad or good or right or wrong, but not you, if that makes sense. So for an example, let's use the my boss is a jerk example. If my boss is a jerk, right, and I'm now going to change that language, I might say something like, my boss was wrong for the way they spoke to me, and I'm uncomfortable with the way I feel at work. That's a descriptive statement, right? You're making an opinion that they were wrong. So it's okay to make that opinion, and it's okay to sort of be objective. That's not fact that they were right or wrong, but you're not assigning it to them, right? You're describing their behavior was bad. What they did was bad, and in turn that made me feel this way. Okay? How they acted was bad. Not she is bad or he is bad, right? That's just like saying he's a jerk. But if I say the way she acted was badly or wrong, and then I replace, and I explain why, now I'm talking about the behavior versus the person. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So the challenge is come up with the 3 judgments that you make about yourself, 3 judgments you make about others very often, and let's switch them out. You can comment below if you feel comfortable doing so. You can do this on your own, and you can message me for help if you need some. And you can join my private Facebook group, Christina's Couch, on Facebook as well to participate in this challenge more on a live support basis. So